All right, so we're going to go over the muscles of the arm here, mostly the anterior arm. So let's dive right in. So, of course, you have up in your shoulder area here, your deltoid. It's actually kind of shaped like a triangle, like a delta. So that's how you can kind of remember that, which is I believe, the Greek letter that's shaped like a triangle. Then you have your pectoral here, which, would kind of continue into like your chest area, your pectoralis major. And then you have your biceps brachii. This is the long head that we're looking at here. I believe this is the short head here. Yes, but we don't need to know that. And then you can see a bit of the triceps brachii kind of under here. All right. Then it starts getting a little bit more intense here. So this is the brachioradialis. And I think of this, it's on the radial side. The radius gives you rides with your thumb. So when you're talking about the lateral side of the body, which in anatomical position this is going to be lateral, this is going to be medial. This is your radius bone is on this side, okay, versus your ulna side, which is going to be on this side. So radialis, that's how you're going to kind of remember radius. And I like to think brachio, I'm walking here. Brachio radialis, I'm walking here, meaning that radius gives you rides connected to your thumb that you would use for hitchhiking. So kind of a reach, but just kind of remember, this is your brachio radialis. It's on your radius side, okay? Not to be confused with the brachialis, which I remember brachialbo, which is kind of right on that other side of the elbow here, all right? That's the brachialis. This is the brachioradialis. You can even think brachioradialis is a longer word, so it's kind of a longer muscle. You can really see that on your forearm, especially if you flex. I believe that's your brachioradialis that just pops right up on your forearm, so you can try that. All right. Now we have these two I want to talk about, the flexor pollicis longus and the flexor digitorum superficialis. All right, so the longus, don't confuse this with where they're located. The longus is this one. It's literally longer. And I'm sorry, not the flexor digitorum superficialis. We're talking about the flexor pollicis longus and the abductor pollicis brevis. So brevis, brevity, is a shorter term. You can think of that. That's the shorter muscle here. Longus is a longer term. That's the longer muscle here. You can actually see this. So if your pollex is your thumb, which you take pulls with. If you flex that, meaning bring that towards your palm, you can see in your wrist a muscle right around there moving. It's subtle. I'm sure it's a little different than everybody, but you can see that right there. So when you flex your thumb, that is your flexor pollicis longus being stimulated, okay? When you move your thumb away from your body, when you abduct it, okay, or extend it, but when you abduct your thumb, that's going to be the short muscle that's right here, the abductor pollicis brevis, okay? We have this little guy here, the abductor digiti minimi. I just think of this as a digit minimi, meaning a small digit, okay? When you move your pinky away from your body, just like with the thumb, which would really be returning it to its normal position, that's what you're using, the abductor digiti minimi. Now, the opposite of that, the thing that flexes all of your fingers, is this flexor digitorum superficialis. And you can see this one too when you flex your fingers. You can feel a little bit of tightness. You can see it. For me, kind of like the medial side of my arm kind of bulges a little bit when I make a fist. And if you really make a fist, you can see this muscle kind of working, especially for me in this like wrist area. So that's the flexor, your digital flexor, the flexor of your digitorum, and it's superficial because it's right on the surface there. Okay. You also have this flexor carpi ulnaris, which you can just think of on the ulna side. So you have your brachioradialis on your radius side. So you also have an ulnar flexor carpi. Your pronator teres, it's a little hard to like understand, but I think of this as when you rotate, if you are holding your palm up and you rotate your thumb so that it is now facing inward, so that it's medial, or it's facing the medial side, your pronator kind of like, I don't know, that's what's doing that, the pronator. So you can kind of see a twist in your arm right in the middle, and that's how I remember that that's the pronator. I can see my brachioradialis twisting, but that pronator is kind of right in the middle, and it's not my elbow. My brachialis, my elbow is not, the anterior surface of that side of my elbow is not moving. It's this pronator that is doing that twisting, okay? So that's it. I know there's a lot here, but that's kind of how I remember the madness of what's going on. And then briefly here, this is just kind of a more lateral view of all of this. So the brachialis, that brachielbow, you can actually see connects to the deltoid, which you cannot see really at all here because it's kind of hiding behind the bicep, but it's interesting because this one is, yeah, you could see it's kind of hiding behind the bicep. It's between the bicep and the tricep. So this brachialis would continue back here and connect to your deltoid, which you can see here. So that brachialis is going to go right kind of onto the anterior surface of the elbow. Here we can see more of the tricep. This is called the lateral head. This is our bicep, the long, I believe that is the long arm. And then this is our brachioradialis, this being our brachialis, okay? So that is, those are the muscles of the arm.